Great morning, great morning, great morning. I am Nicole D. Jones, and I am just happy and grateful for another day. I'm happy and grateful for life. I say it every week. I don't take days for granted. I don't take you for granted. I am just happy and grateful. I listen. I know that I'm repetitive in saying this, but if you're someone who wrestles with like affirmations, y'all get one every week. You get three. You are healthy. You are wealthy. You are prosperous. Everything your hands go to touch, it must, it shall, and it will manifest, prosper, and grow great things because you're great. That's three affirmations. Okay. And I don't say them just to say things. I say them because I believe it. And now that I have believed it long enough, I know it to be true. All right. So, meal prep Monday. And like I said, I'm going to stay in the vein. I definitely want you guys to talk to me. We are in a place and the videos are up to date. So please, if you have not had a chance, go and start where I say that this life is simple. All right. But what's simple to do is also simple not to do. And I was in actually a business training, and they were talking to us about some stuff, and it really got me to thinking, of course, from that supernatural space. Okay. I am intentional to live a simple life because I believe that is what has been created and designed for me. So every day in this simplicity of this life where I now understand and I know that it is only the journey that complicates it. But excuse me, the time that we live by, the minute, the days, and the hours, it's fixed. Okay. So we don't get back yesterday. We don't need to worry about tomorrow because we have to deal with what's present. All right. I keep it very simple. I don't worry about tomorrow. I got enough to deal with today. And I don't cry over yesterday because I can't change it or bring it back. All right. Very simple. But like I say, what's simple to do is also simple not to do. So I was in this training and it hit me. And this is a fact. We only do what we feel like doing. And when and when he said it, I'm like, that ain't true. That is true. You feel like getting up, you're gonna get up. You feel like sleeping in, you're gonna sleep in. You feel like acting right, you're gonna act right. You feel like cutting a donkey, you're gonna cut a donkey. We do what we we only do what we feel like doing. So he was teaching this stuff, and this is what came to me. All right. Because keep in mind, we're in a headspace of simplicity. This life is simple. All right. I done told y'all in the best personal growth and self-development book, it tells us that. All right. Matthew 6:333. So it's very simple. It's two things that we need to do. If we do them, everything else is added to us. So here's the thing. We only do what we feel like doing. So facts are facts. All right. The truth is the truth. You ain't got to agree with it, but you got to respect it. Facts are facts. But this is the thing. When I say that we only do what we feel like doing, you take a fact, right? Whatever it is, and you take a fact, and then what you do is you focus on it. So you go from a fact to what you focus on. All right. The focus is the mindset. It's in our mind. It's what we focus. Based off of what we're focusing on, we create a belief. We either have faith in what we believe or we doubt what we believe. But they're both beliefs. Okay. Faith is a belief. Doubt is a belief. It's what we choose to believe in. Okay. So if you choose to have, so whatever you're focusing on, you choose to have faith in it, it's going to create a desire. You choose to doubt in it, it's going to create excuses. It can create anxiety. All right. Shut up, Nicole. All right. So at this place of belief, this is where you have to be able to take the fact, make a decision on how you're going to believe in this fact. And then that's where you begin to dream. That's where you begin to see it, supernaturally see it. All right. Because whatever we see, whatever we're creating, whatever we've chosen to believe, it then creates a feeling. So that's where it goes from our mind to our heart. It creates the feeling. It goes from the conscious to the subconscious on the supernatural side. On the natural side, this feeling goes into our heart, and that's where we're motivated. So whatever we've just believed, whether it's in a place of faith, and we allow it to create this anticipation, or if we allow it to go down to put us into this negative spiral down, the little spiral down hole, whatever. Whichever one it is, it's going to create a feeling. The feeling is where it goes into the heart, and that's what comes to our hands. It's what we do. It's what we produce. All right. So I was listening to him and I'm like, man, because we think that we have a problem with procrastination, but we don't. Procrastination is really just a symptom, just like when you have a cold, you have a virus. That virus creates a cough or a runny nose. Procrastination is your runny nose to anxiety. All right. Because when you're anxious for something or you doubt, then you're slower to move to it. So listen to it. What happens if we choose to believe and allow it to create desire, faith? We believe in it and we allow it to create anticipation. It's something, it'll excite us. It makes us happy, right? We're looking forward to it. That will then create us to move in a quicker, swifter way. But if we have a fact and we begin to believe the belief of doubt, what is it going to create? We'll become sad. We'll become anxious. We start like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. Right? It all comes from this space. And then this is where we allow that feeling, whichever one is what's going to motivate us. That's what motivates our hands. All right. So Meal Prep Monday, I'm really trying to keep this simple because I want to hear y'all. But when I was listening to him and I was just thinking about this life being simple, I'm starting to think about the things that really stop us from having a simple life that was truly created for us, excuse me. Because once you understand that it is only the journey that complicates it, you'll begin to understand that your journey and your life is two different things. Is one but two. Your life is your life. The breath that we breathe, the fact that we woke up today, we are living and we're alive. Okay? What happens, these little series in our movie, that's the journey. Okay? But when we can shift our perspective to understand that this life truly is simple, situations come and go. All right? That's the journey part. Situations come and go. But one thing that I can guarantee you, time is not going to stop, and you're going to get through the pieces of the journey. Life is still there. You're still living the simplicity of your life through the journey. That makes sense? Somebody unmute. Talk to me. It makes sense? It doesn't make sense. Somebody tell me.
Yes.
Thank you. So here's the thing. Meal Prep Monday. I want you to understand that every action that we do, it starts with a feeling. All right. So when you do it backwards, because, I want us to get to where we're doing things inward out, but this is the outward in part, right? So we're going to start with our action. So we're going out in. You got to know that every action starts with a feeling. And that feeling is how we interpret the situation. All right. So here's how it works. We see or hear something. That's the fact, right? Because with facts, we hear news or we actually see something happening. All right. Then we go from fact to focus. We focus on whatever news we just got or whatever we see. And then how we choose to, our perception, it allows us to create a belief. And this is the thing. When we have, like I said, the positive or faith in something, we believe, we're excited. The holidays are here. Christmas is here. Kids they're anticipating gifts, right? So now they're seeing something. They're anticipating. They're focused on. They're excited. So now they want to, be right, do right, get right, so they can get what they want. Or it may be a kid who knows it's Christmas and they looking at their tree and don't see nothing. So now it could produce a sadness. It can produce anxiety. So this is the thing. All right, so we focus on the part that forms the belief. The belief creates a feeling. That feeling, it drives what we do. So I want to ask you, what is motivating you to do what it is that you're doing? To keep your life simple, you've got to be willing to really look and see what's motivating you. And in that motivation, is it something that's going to produce faith? Is it going to fuel your faith in something, or is it going to fuel your doubt? Because whichever one you believe is the one you're going to execute. Because at the end of the day, in the simplicity of this life, we do only what we feel like doing. This is why I keep telling you, if you could learn to steward your own soul, you will learn self-control. Self-control is what helps us with this. Because it's no different than an example that I thought about. It's like when it rains. When you see rain, the faith in it could be, I'm so happy and grateful now that it's raining, because rain produces life. It produces a way to water the plants. Plants produce oxygen. It produces life. Or you can look outside and it's raining and you're like, it's so messy out. And now there's mud everywhere and it's so messy. And oh my God, it looks so dark. Does that make sense? The fact is that it's raining. All right? That's the fact. So what are we focusing on in the fact that we had? Because whatever we're focusing on, it's going to create a belief. And then whatever we believe, it's going to create a feeling. And then that feeling is then motivated, and that's what we actually play out. That seems so complex, but it's really simple. So 1014, y'all gonna talk to me, because we still saying in the simplicity. Question, comments about what I said, or your journey in this simplicity of your life.
I like that rain example. Thank you.
Whoever just said that, you're welcome. That sounds like Miss Lisa, but I could be wrong.
No, it was not me. I think it was
not Miss Lisa.
No.
Who said that?
Miss Jacinta?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, Jacinta sound okay. My bad. I don't know Jacinta's voice. Interesting. All right. Anyone else? Anyone else? The whole purpose of today, I just want y'all to keep in mind, Ladrina, I'm gonna get you. But I want y'all to keep in mind that I'm just trying to get us to understand that this life really is simple, because there was a week where someone didn't feel like that. All right. The journey is what's complicated. It's what complicates this simple life. But life is simple. And when we can really start getting to a place where we believe that, these mountains won't be so overwhelming to us that we just look at some stuff and be like, oh Lord, how am I do this? How can I can't do this? Listen, you can do all things. All right. This life is a fixed fight, and we win. We win. Ladrina?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think that was kind of a saying that you do what you want to do. Like you say you have to get up. Because my thought process when you said that, I'm like, no, we don't. But then it's kind of like you go, I get up in the morning. I might want to sleep in, but I don't sleep in because I got to go to work. But then in reality, when you really think about it, we do what we want to do, even if we don't want to do it. I guess if that makes sense. Like it's like, because at first I was like, no, because when I want to sleep in, I can't. But then when I can, I do. But even though I don't feel like working today, I'm still gonna have to work because I know bills have to be paid. But it's still that I'm doing it because I want to do it too. If that makes, I don't know if that makes sense. Like it's kind of like,
right. You're right. Because this is the thing. When I say we only do what we feel like doing, we feel like going to work. We're going to work, maybe not because we like work, but because we need that dollar to pay that bill.
Yeah, and with that, it was some conviction, because it's like, okay, with the things of God, we do it's kind of like what Pastor was saying yesterday. Some things we put on the back burner. We don't center our life around him. We kind of fit him in where he wants to. But then with that, what you just said today means that's something that we're doing because that's what we want to do, because it's convenient.
At the end of the day. So that means that, and that's why we got to learn to be a better steward of ourselves. Discipline is what is going to continue to get you to go to work. Now, the motivation is the check. The motivation is the payment. So it's still about what we believe and what we see. So this is the fact. The fact is you got a bill that you're going to pay, right? That's the fact. So what are we focused on? Or fact is you have bills. So now what are we focused on? We're focused on paying this bill. What do we believe? Do we believe it in a positive way or a negative way? We trying to go down to Magic City and twist the pole? Or are we trying to do it the right way with our job? Like, which way are we going to go with it? Positive or negative? And I'm using this very, because I'm trying to just get you to see that it's a belief or it's a doubt. All right. So this might not be the right scenario, but either way, it creates a feeling. So with that feeling, that's where you have to understand that in the feeling is where we're motivated. So what's motivating you to go to work? And it may not be the job itself. It may not be the coworkers, but what's motivating you, and motivation is that you want to keep your credit score good. You want to pay your bills. You want to be a good steward. You don't want to be out. You like the house that you just purchased. So you want to stay there. All right. That's still a motivation that then produces an action. So you get up. It's still then what you feel like doing. Does that make sense? I feel like I just complicated things all the way around.
No, that makes perfect sense. It's just conviction on my part because I even with church with the sermon yesterday, just I kind of slacked in my prayer time, but I made time to watch Suits. So I could watch a couple of episodes of Suits, or I made sure I did a few emails that I didn't necessarily have to do for work, off my time. So just it makes perfect sense.
And you got to remember, to keep life simple, there's balance. So you're right. So that could be conviction, because it still goes back to the things of balance. The prioritizing, the organizing, the self-discipline. It all fits together, because as we walk this out, we should be going into different levels of maturation. We should be maturing. We should be getting convicted and then kind of shifting the things that we do so that we can line up. We're progressing through this journey, so that when there are things that when you prioritize, because it even goes back, and now I'm thinking about just, the times that we've been talking, but it's like we're learning and growing. And all I'm trying to do in as we're going through our weeks is to give you examples to solidify that this life really is simple. But what's simple to do is also simple not to do. This is very simple. This is how I wrote it out. I don't know if y'all can see this. I wrote it like this, right? It's simple. God is a God of principle. He's a God of order, structure, all of that. It literally just goes down like that to me. This is how I see it. It's like that whole inward out. But it's simple. Facts, focus, belief, feeling, hands. It's that simple. You take a fact, focus, but what are you going to believe? What are you feeling? What are you doing? Right? But what's simple to do is also simple not to do, because there's a processing that we have to go through, and it's all perspective. That's very simple. But that perspective is so broad. Simple life. I see something in the corner and I don't know what that is. What is that?
It's a hand.
Oh, no, ma'am. Just unmute yourself and say whatever, please. I'm on an iPad.
Funny.
I'm trying
That's
to.
funny. That's
Yeah.
funny. So my question, you said earlier that procrastination is a symptom of what did you say?
Procrastination
anxiety?
is actually a symptom of anxiety.
Anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. It's just a symptom. It's not a root. Procrastination is not a root. It is a byproduct of something. We don't have a root of procrastination. That is a learned behavior. Not a root. Y'all want to talk about it? Challenge me. Maybe I'm wrong. That's what I believe. It comes from somewhere. It's a byproduct. It's an action. Actions come from a root.
Okay, let me ask you this. So let's say I'm procrastinating on reading something, what will the anxiety be? Like,
it depends on what you're reading. So let's say that let's use the Bible. Because, I feel like that is the number one personal growth and self-development book you should be reading. So let's say that you're procrastinating on reading. The anxiety could come from the fact that once you read it, you're accountable. Because you're accountable, it's going to require an action. You're going to have to go through this process. Okay? So, and I think that when we think of anxiety, we think of someone who ain't got no nails, they anxious, they're just like, like all these things. That anxiety produces these things. But the spirit of anxiety is really, so when you think of faith, it's something you desire. When you think of anxiety, it's something you don't desire. It's just something that, and when you don't desire something, you begin to move a little slowful. You begin to procrastinate, because whatever we do, there's accountability. So there can be anxiety, and you don't even realize that's the root. Okay? So we are to be anxious for nothing. But the root of something, the root of procrastination is anxiety, because it's almost like anxiety wants us to look at things. Y'all forgive me. I feel like I'm acting like I'm on the spectrum, but it's so much falling in my head. I can't look at y'all. It's just, anyway. But anxiety is like, it's the root of something. So you begin to, it produces a feeling and emotion. But the root of anxiety, it's like the opposite of what's desired. So you got to remember that there is an enemy that dwells in the negative. There's two sides to everything. There's not any one-sided something. If someone can think of something that's one-sided, you tell me. All right. This is two-sided. A cloth is two-sided. It has two sides. All right. Your hand is two-sided. Everything, your body, is a front and a back. So when you think of where belief is, when you think of faith and doubt, it's the front and the back. And they're so far apart. So you got faith, you got doubt, you got anticipation, you got anxiety. It's the opposite of what's going to be produced and where we produce from. So you got the desirable, you got the non-desirable. So which one do we believe? Because that's going to be what we act on, and then what motivates it. Procrastination comes from anxiety. Does that make sense?
Yes. Thank you.
It does. I have a question. So would anxiety, would the root be fear?
I'm going to say no, because I believe there's a spirit of fear and there's a spirit of anxiety. Anxiety feels like, looks like, and smells like fear, but it's not. Fear comes from an unknown. Fear comes from not knowing something. Like if I'm driving on a dark road and I don't know what's coming, it can bring fear, because I don't know if I'm about to drop. I don't know, whatever. Anxiety, I believe, is where we kind of have played something out in a negative way, and it makes us anxious. Does that make sense? I feel like they can feel the same, but I think they're different. I think fear, because fear is like, when I think of fear, the only way I can think of it, or what's popping in my head, is like fear could lead to death. What popped in my head was if I'm driving on a dark road and it's raining and I can't see, and I'm on this back road and I don't know what's in front of me, and it's like danger, I'm going to be fearful. Now, someone will be like, well, yeah, you're anxious in that moment. Yeah, you're both. Like, I don't think they're the same. I'm fearful and I could be anxious. My hands will start sweating. But the biggest thing in that is fear. Anxiety to me is like, if I'm looking at the road and I'm like, man, like I can see it. And I'm like, man, when I get to that corner, ooh, I'm gonna, like, if I don't slow down, I could flip over. that brings an anxiety because I'm evaluating what I see and fear I can't see. Does that make sense?
It does.
Okay. Oh, it's 10:30. 10:30. That was good though. So, in the simplicity of our life, I hope y'all understood that. And please go back. And if y'all can stretch me. Because literally, this is just what's coming to me and I'm sharing it. But in the simplicity of this life, just know that your life is not complicated. The journey is. Two different things. It's the life is like the umbrella. Our journey is us going through it, okay? And that we only do what we feel like doing. So you got to recognize that there's a fact. We take that, and in our mind, we focus. Where we focus on something, that's where we create. Then it goes from that to belief. And we either believe in faith or in doubt. So doubt is a belief, all right? Okay. So we go from belief to a feeling. That feeling goes from the mind to the heart, from the conscious mind to the subconscious mind. From that feeling, that's where we're motivated. And that's where what we do is produced. Why we do what we do comes from a feeling. And then with our hands is what we actually do. It's how we end up walking it out. All right. So I want you to stay humble, stay focused, stay positive, be the best version of you unapologetically. All right. Y'all in these hands, listen, because I never want to belabor the time. So I'm going to say, stay focused, stay humble, stay positive, be the best version of you unapologetically because no one else can do it.